The Birthday Party is a three-act play written by Harold Pinter. It was first performed in 1958. It is one of the most famous plays of the theatre of the absurd and is also called a comedy of menace. Theatre of absurd, where life is confusing, meaningless, and people often fail to understand each other. Comedy of menace, funny moments and frightening moments happens together. The audience laughs but also feels nervous and uncomfortable. The setting of the play is the entire play takes place almost completely in the living dining room of an old boarding house in small English seaside town during the 1950s. The place feels ordinary and peaceful at first, but slowly becomes frightening. One important thing about this play that Harold Pinter never clearly explained many things. For example, is it really Stanley's birthday? What did Stanley do in the past? Who are Goldberg and Macken? Where are they taking Stanley? These questions remain unanswered on purpose. Now let's discuss the main characters. The very first is Stanley Weber. He is around his 30s, lives in boarding house, untidy, lonely, and frightened. He says that he was once a famous concert pianist. He never know if he is, and we never know if he is telling truth or lie. He becomes the victim of Goldberg and Macken. The next character is Meg Bowles, owner of boarding house, and she is around 60-year-old. She is kind but childish, and she treats Stanley like a son, sometimes behaves as if she is flirting with him, lives in her own happy imaginary world. Petey Bowles Meg husbands and he works as a deck chair attendant, sorry, and he is quiet and gentle and wants to help Stanley but is too weak to stop the others. Goldberg, next character, is around 50 and he is smart, polite, and friendly on the outside. And he uses beautiful language, actually controls and frightens Stanley. Macken is the next character, and he is about 30 years old. He is Irish, and he is very serious and nervous. And Macken is the Goldberg's assistant, and he uses physical force and threats. Lulu is the next character, and she is young and never. She is very friendly and cheerful. She likes Goldberg at first, but later she realizes that he has mistreated her. So now let's start act wise summary. Act first, start with. The play begins with a very ordinary morning. Petey and Meg are eating breakfast. They talk about simple things, cornflakes, tea, newspaper. Their conversation seems meaningless but shows their everyday routine. Their conversation shows everyday routine. Stanley is still upstairs sleeping. Meg goes to wake him up. She prepares breakfast for him. During their conversation, sometimes Meg behaves like his mother. Sometimes she behaves as if she likes him romantically. Stanley becomes irritated. He says he was once a famous concert pianist whose career was destroyed. We never know if this is true. Petey tells Meg that two men are coming to stay in the boarding house. When Stanley hears this, Petey tells Meg that two men are coming to stay in the boarding house. When Stanley hears this, he becomes very frightened. This is the first sign that something terrible may happen. Lulu comes and brings a package for Meg, and soon Goldberg and Mackin arrives. Before they enter, Stanley secretly leaves through the back door because he wants to avoid them. Meg welcomes the two visitors happily. She casually tells them today is Stanley's birthday. Immediately, they decide to arrange a birthday party. Later, Stanley returns. He strongly says, "No, it is not my birthday." Again, the audience does not know who is telling the truth. Meg gives Stanley a birthday present. It is only a small toy drum. Stanley starts beating it. At first, it is playful. Then he beats it harder and harder until it becomes wild and frightening. The acts end with this disturbing scene. In Act 2, evening begins. Mackin quietly tears a newspaper into neat, equal strips. This strange action creates tension. Stanley wants to leave. He asks Mackin to let him go. Mackin refuses. Now Goldberg joins them. Together they begin attacking Stanley, not physically at first, but with words, verbally. They ask him hundreds of confusing questions very quickly. For example, they ask Stanley, "Why do you betray us? Did you have a wife? What happened to number 846? Do you believe in an external force?" Many questions make no sense. Stanley cannot answer. The purpose is to confuse him and destroy his confidence. Finally, they even tell him, "You are dead." This means they are trying to destroy Stanley's identity. Stanley becomes angry. He kicks Goldberg. Mackin threatens him with a chair. The danger increases. Meg comes wearing a beautiful party dress. The birthday party begins. Everyone drinks and celebrates. Lulu flirts with Goldberg. Everything appears normal. Then what happens? Then everyone plays blind man's buff, a game where one person is blindfolded. During the game, Mackin breaks Stanley glasses. Now Stanley cannot see properly. Then Stanley accidentally steps on the toy drum and breaks it. The toy drum is completely destroyed. Suddenly Stanley attacks Meg. He begins to choke her. Immediately the lights go out. Everything becomes dark. Lulu screams. When someone finally brings a torch, Stanley is standing over Lulu on the table in a threatening position, suggesting an attempted sexual assault. Instead of speaking normally, Stanley begins laughing strangely. The second act ends here. In Act 3, the next morning, everything looks normal again. Patty and Meg prepare breakfast, but one thing has changed. There are no conflicts because Goldberg and Mackin have eaten them all. Even this small detail shows that the visitors have taken control. Goldberg and Mackin says Stanley has had a nervous breakdown. ना? Goldberg and Mackin says that Stanley has had a nervous breakdown and they have saved him. They have dressed him in dark suit, white collar. He now looks like a respectable gentleman. But inside, Stanley has completely lost himself. He cannot speak properly anymore. He only makes meaningless sounds. and this shows that his identity has been destroyed. Goldberg and Macken says they are taking Stanley to Monty. Nobody knows who is Monty. Is it a hospital, a prison, or something else? Pinter never explains. Pinter finally tries to, Petty, Meg husband, finally tries to help Stanley. He says, Stanley, don't let them tell you what to do. But it is too late. Stanley goes away with them, and Petty cannot save him. Lulu returns. She accuses Goldberg of treating her badly the previous night. Instead of accepting responsibility, Macken tells Lulu to kneel down and repent, as if she is the guilty person. This shows how power can blame innocent people. Goldberg and Macken leaves with Stanley. Meg comes back. She knows almost nothing about the terrible events. She happily says, I was the belle of the ball. She believes the party was wonderful, and the play ends with everyone pretending everything is normal. So the major themes here is ambiguity and the absurd. Nothing is fully explained. We never know the complete truth about Stanley, Goldberg, Macken, or Monty. This uncertainty is central to the play. The next theme is comedy of menace. Funny conversation exists alongside fear and danger. The audience laughs but also feels threatened. Isolation, alienation, and identity. Stanley leaves alone and hides from society. Goldberg and Macken gradually destroy his confidence, identity, and finally, even his speech. Guilt and transgression. Stanley is accused of many things, but the play never proves he is guilty. The accusations themselves help break him psychologically. Power, conformity, and oppression. Goldberg and Macken represent powerful forces that pressure people to obey and become respectable. Some critics compare this to totalitarian governments, Kafka like persecution or Cold War paranoia, but Pinter deliberately avoided giving one fixed interpretation. Language and silence. Language is used to confuse and control rather than communicate. Stanley's final inability to speak represents complete silencing. Sexuality and domination is also the major theme. Makes mixed maternal and flirtatious behavior. Goldberg's treatments of Lulu and Stanley attacks shows that desire and power are closely linked. So the play is in 3 acts: single setting, boarding house living room, and circular structure is the play begins and ends with a breakfast routine, suggesting that life appears normal on the surface despite terrible things. The birthday party is the